Workers rally in Winnipeg to get expiring work permits extended. WestJet strike over as a tentative agreement is reached. Israel tells Palestinians in Khan Younes to evacuate, signaling a possible new ground assault. Marine Le Pen's fascist party takes the first round of French snap elections. And a UN working group calls for release of Pakistani ex-Prime Minister Imran Khan. Good morning. It's Tuesday, July 2nd. I'm Nora. Here are your headlines. Hundreds of people rallied in Winnipeg to call on the federal and provincial governments to allow more international workers to stay in the province. Late last year, the federal government said it would stop an extension on postgraduate work permits. It started during COVID. Then, last month, Manitoba's Immigration Minister Malaya Marcelino said that the federal government would grant requests for extensions for 6,700 people in the province to stay for 2 more years. This followed months of protests by temporary residents. They say that the extension the feds offered needs to include more people, and it isn't enough. CBC's Arturo Chang spoke to Shi Luo with the International Student and Skilled Workers Union, who explained that the extension is limited to post-graduation work permits that expire in 2024 and, quote, to people who submitted expressions of interest for the province's provincial nominee program before May 10th, unquote. Luo also said that the system in Manitoba is backlogged, meaning that the status of many workers waiting to hear back is under threat. Talking to CBC, Malaya Marcelino said that the province has tried to deal with the backlog issue by increasing resources for the provincial nominee program, but the average wait time is currently 7 months. Next, the union representing WestJet mechanics, the Aircraft Mechanics Fraternal Association, has reached a tentative agreement with the airline ending the strike. The union said that the strike had resulted in several improvements over the first tentative agreement that their members had rejected. The updated agreement includes a 15.5% wage increase. That breaks into a 3.25% next year increase and 2.5% each year for the remaining years covered by the agreement. The strike started on Friday after Labour Minister Seamus O'Regan pushed the Canada Industrial Relations Board to refer the bargaining dispute to arbitration. The board allowed for the strike despite the Labour Minister's directions. The union said that the agreement with WestJet was only possible with the strike and is a very good reminder that the power that unions have is not playing nice with the Liberals, is not sucking up to the Liberals, is not sucking up such that you get a Senate position with the Liberals. It's actually doing labor relations. And sometimes that means going on strike. Solidarity with all of those folks, and every single person who had a flight canceled should be on the phone with WestJet's management asking why on earth they let it get so bad. For an airline that does rely on Boeing planes, you folks want to pay your airline mechanics a lot. Next, to international news, and first, Israel has ordered Palestinians in Khan Younes, the Gaza Strip's second largest city, to leave. This could signal that Israel is planning a new ground offensive into the city. That would be the latest in a series of repeated raids that the Israeli army has been carrying out in various cities and areas across Gaza. Most of Khan Younes has been decimated earlier in the assault on Gaza. Still, Palestinians have started to move back there as the Israeli army shifted focus to other parts of the besieged territory. Palestinians in Khan Younes said that they received messages telling them to go to Muwasi, an area on the coast of Gaza, which has become overcrowded. In reaction to this latest evacuation order, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said that this, quote, just shows yet again that no place is safe in Gaza, unquote, for Palestinian civilians. This news comes on the same day that Israel released Mohammed Abu Salmaya, the director of Al-Shifa Hospital, Gaza's largest hospital. Since October, Israel has claimed that the hospital was used as a Hamas control center without ever providing evidence and had attacked it, leaving it severely damaged. Abu Salmaya said upon his release that he was arrested without charge and tortured almost daily, and said some prisoners had been killed in interrogation cells. The Israeli Public Broadcasting Corporation reported on the same day that Israeli prisons are at full capacity with thousands of Palestinians who have been detained since October 7th. Next, French President Emmanuel Macron's gamble with calling a snap election has backfired. Marine Le Pen's far-right party won the election's first round, taking 33% of the vote. Yes, that is fascist Marine Le Pen, who just maybe 5 or 10 years ago seemed more like a joke than a possible president of France. The turnout for the first round was 68%, the highest since 1997. The left-wing New Popular Front came in second, while Macron's centrist party came last. In reaction to the results, Macron said in a statement, quote, "Faced with national rally, this time has come for a broad, clearly democratic and Republican alliance for the second round," unquote. Now, the various parties across the political spectrum, but mainly centrist and left-wing parties, are trying to come together to block Le Pen's party from winning the second round set to take place on July 7th. This is a strategy called the Republican Front that parties used to implement when the far right seemed close to power. It doesn't seem clear or guaranteed that it'll work this time. Macron shocked the world when he called a snap election following the results of last month's European Parliament elections, in which far-right parties, including Le Pen's party, made massive gains across the continent. And finally, a UN working group is calling for the release of Pakistani ex-Prime Minister Imran Khan. In an opinion review of Khan's case, the UN working group on arbitrary detention wrote that his arrest was arbitrary and violated international law. The group also wrote that his arrest was part of a larger campaign of repression against Khan and his party, citing members of his party were arrested and tortured in the lead-up to the 2024 general elections. Khan has been facing many charges since 2022, when he was ousted in a vote of non-confidence in Parliament. He's been serving a 3-year sentence since August last year and was banned from participating in the elections earlier this year. Despite his multiple convictions and prison sentence, Khan remains the leading opposition figure after his party won the most seats in this year's elections, but fell short of a majority to form a government. Those are your headlines for Tuesday, July 2nd. Yeah, July. It's already July. Can you believe that? I can't believe that. I'm Nora, not believing that it's July. You're listening to this podcast at sandynora.com, on the Real News Network podcast feed, and anywhere you get your podcasts. It is Tuesday, and that means that an episode of Sandy Nora drops very, very soon. I have to still edit it. We've been doing this thing in the summer where we're recording later and later and later because of our travel schedules. It'll eventually come to a head and we'll have to take a vacation, I think. But you're going to like this one. It's a good one. We talk about Biden and Trudeau and how similar their struggles are, despite how different the circumstances of each man is. As I say, it drops in a couple of hours if I have my act together, and I hope you'll tune in.